I know a couple who they have it set that every Saturday they plan, you know. Another day.
Another vlog.
With the crispy audio.
This is a little different, a little fun.
A little wacky.
Today we're doing a little Q&A advice session, and
I have been working really hard on making my office freaking mint. And I literally just finished it. Was it yesterday that I finished the office? There's a corner in my office where we podcast. If you haven't listened to it, it's prompt us. But Jess had the idea of like, why don't we just do this Q&A on your podcast setup?
I would love a podcast, not going to lie. And so this is fun. Let us know if you like this type of format, something a little different.
Where we chit chat with you guys and just hang out.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be really casual.
We were talking about my office and I haven't shown it yet on like social media. So I'm going to hop off. I'm not going to be crispy audio for a second. It's going to be camera audio, but I need to show you my office. It's so freaking cool.
I'll still be crispy.
We have my camera cart right here. This is for the podcast. So we're going to put Zach on there. His screen. So that goes into the closet. Remove that from your vision and you walk in to the office. We have the freaking vibey podcast corner over there. My carpet, it's good for sound, the sound padding and all of it. But what really is the winner chicken dinner here is my desk. It's just so beautiful. I'm so in love with it. The chair was turned like that because Milo was sitting there, but now he's with Jess right now. Anyway, Jess started an Amazon store, so I'll go ahead and put some of that stuff on like her Amazon thing and links in the description. If you're interested in having a vibey office setup.
All right. Should we get into the questions?
Oh, we should.
I asked on my text app. I'll leave my number right here. Just if you guys had any relationship advice, questions, if you're going through anything personally, everything is anonymous. So without further ado.
Clink, clink. Let's cheers to that.
That's not the
And have a
phrase.
drink. Let's have a drink. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just give them all a nice round of applause. This one's for you guys.
That was for anyone who is a returning subscriber. And this one is for if you're new and you are about to subscribe. No.
You're in for a wild ride.
Welcome to the family.
I don't know what those presets are. That was a guess. The clapping, that was what I was looking for, but I randomly just did it and it happened to be good.
You want to start with the questions?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
What are some fun ideas that you guys like to do together when you're bored instead of just watching TV?
One thing that we like to do a lot, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called The Deed.
Oh my gosh, Gabriel.
You thought I was serious,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, oh, he has an answer so quickly. Of course. I feel like we like doing really simple things together, like taking Milo on a walk. Sometimes I try to get him to bake with me. Oh, we love playing games.
Board games.
Puzzles, board games.
We haven't done a puzzle in a while.
I know.
Yeah, we do need to do that. Board games is really good, especially ones that are easy to do and you can like Monopoly Deal we love because you can like play that just the two of us and it's like a quick game. You're not like sitting there for a really long time.
Sometimes we like to sing together. I would just like find things that you have in common that don't involve the TV.
Yeah.
When did y'all know you were ready to get married and start that chapter of your life? When were you ready to leave your family and start a new one? Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, gosh, how did I feel like I was ready? Like we were so young.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was just our situation was very different with our long distance. We got married in December and it was either that December or the next December that we could have our wedding.
We got engaged in September of 2016 and then it was like get married in 3 months or get married in a year and 3 months. That would mean doing long distance from US to Australia for another year and a half. So we weren't too keen on that.
I think me especially, I had just turned 20. I sort of had to grow up really quickly and just figure all of this out, move across the country, move in with a husband. I think it was just our situation that was like, we were just like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, but there might be people in that situation where they probably shouldn't get married. You know what I mean? I think we just there was no red flags in our relationship. And it came from like experience in our previous relationships and knowing in whatever future relationship that we were going to have, what those red flags looked like and what we were expecting and wanting in a partner. And we both fulfilled those check boxes, I guess.
My mom helped me realize like when we were kind of figuring out, okay, do we get married in 3 months? Do we get married in a year and 3 months? She was actually the one that was like, you both love each other. You both know that you don't want to marry anyone else. Like, why are you going to wait? Because we were both at that point in doing our full-time work financially we were stable enough to like get married and do the move and everything like that.
Last thing to add to that, think of the things that are going to cause problems in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like you think of the things like what may be an issue in the future, even like 10 years in the future with kids and stuff. Are you going to raise your kids this? Do you guys want to raise your kids the same way? Stuff like that. And do you align on those things and talk about those things and talk about those things early? Because then you're not wasting time getting really, really connected with the person emotionally. And it's just having that mentality of like, are you working towards marriage even when you're dating?
That was actually a question that came up quite a lot, was like, when do you have a conversation about this? And when do you have a conversation about this? I mean, the span of our dating relationship was what? 7 months before we got engaged.
Yeah.
So I feel like we put everything out on the table. And also with long distance, we like were pretty open about our values and stuff like pretty much from the beginning.
Yeah.
How do you be there for a friend who is getting into a relationship with someone you know they shouldn't be with? I think if it's a really good friend and you know that it's someone that like isn't right for them, I think you should just care for them and be with them, because if it doesn't work out and they get hurt, then, you know, you will still be there to comfort them.
Even if you have a conversation with them and they know that you kind of don't agree with their choice and being in that relationship, still love them and still be there for them. And if it is a relationship that is going to hurt them and you can kind of see that that's happening, you need to be there for them more than, you know, kind of get offended that they didn't listen to you and then dip out of their lives or anything like that. But it's tough because the person who's getting into that relationship, they're probably really blinded by their emotions.
I was talking to someone recently about a relationship situation and they were like, you know what, I feel like I'm not really sure if it's right, but I want to make the mistake for myself anyway. Like I want to try and I want to see. So if your friend is kind of in that situation, I would just say, just support them and be there for them.
It's ultimately their choice. You can't control it, you know,
Yeah.
But you just have to love them the best way you know how.
Advice when I'm feeling depressed, but I don't want to worry my husband. I act strong for him, but I feel like breaking at any point. You know, I've never gone through depression, but I have a partner who has gone through depression.
Who?
And from my end, I wouldn't want Gabe to have like this mentality of like, I can't go to her about this. I don't want her to worry, because I could tell, first of all, I could tell what was happening. So I think your husband wouldn't want you to not go to him. And I think also like for your mental health, it's really important to talk to people about it, whether it's your husband or whether it's a family member or a therapist. It's so important to not just like hold it all in.
The more you hold it in, especially with depression, it is so debilitating and painful and hard to deal with on your own. Like you guys are on the same page and or at least need to be on the same page and be on the same page with everything, like your feelings. You need to know how each other's feeling in every situation. And if that's, you know, something that you struggle with, him knowing is better for your guys' marriage and relationship. He's only going to be there to help you. You know what I mean? Like that, or at least he should only be there to help you. Maybe it stresses him out a little bit to feel that responsibility of really like caring for you and being there for you, but that's his job.
When you were going through it, and I actually asked our therapist, like, what are the best practices for someone like going through a season like this? And she was saying like routine, you know, 3 meals a day, getting outside and like moving your body and that sort of thing. So that is a certain amount of responsibility, but like I love Gabe and Gabe loves me. We care for each other. We want the best for each other. So I wouldn't be afraid to like show him and tell him how you're feeling.
Good freaking work. Dude, you're kind of smart.
You're kind of smart too.
You kind of know what you're talking about a little bit.
You're like pretty good looking.
Really?
Okay, anyway.
You're kind of hot.
All right. How do you split up the housework? I feel like I'm the only one doing anything, along with the fact that I'm the one working while he's in college. How do we split up the housework?
How do we split up the housework? I'd love to hear it from your perspective.
I think we have come a really long way in doing housework together. The one example that we can talk about is the dishes. I feel like we're in this really good rhythm of like the dishes are always being done at some point. They're not just like piling up.
I tend to be, and I feel like this may be most guys in a relationship. They need to be more like formulaic with the way things happen, or nothing's going to happen. Where you, Jess, you see things around the house and stuff happens and you were like, oh, I'll do the dishes now. I have, an extra 10 minutes, like stuff like that, where I don't think like that. I'm like, oh, I have an extra 10 minutes. Great. I'm going to sit on the couch,
That is definitely what happens.
To combat that natural bad instinct that I have. I read Atomic Habits, and I've mentioned it. You may have seen me talk about it on the Instagram or my stories or whatever. My way to do the dishes now, after I work out in the mornings, I will always make a protein shake. And then when I'm done with my protein shake, I go and I put it in the dishwasher and I like rinse it out. And I realized, oh, I'm already doing the dishes. And in the book Atomic Habits, he talks about like habit stacking, where, you stack one habit that you want to do on the back of a habit that you already have. So that was a habit I already had, which was washing out my protein shake bottle thing. So now I've been doing it every morning because I know that when I do that, my hands are already wet. I'm already like in that space. I just take out the old dishes from the dishwasher, put them away, and put the new ones in the dishwasher.
So it's kind of like actually unintentionally become this like flow, I've noticed, but I would say have an open conversation. Like, I feel like some stuff for us happen naturally. Like, you've just always taken out the garbage and like I've never asked. True. But if you feel like you're the only one like doing housework,
it needs to be a mutual.
It's definitely not fair. Like, it should be a mutual thing.
Yeah, you both need to be on the same page about it. And that what it's going to have to take is a conversation of like, I do a lot of housework and I would like to have some more contribution from your end and just figure out a nice way to say it and stuff like that.
So I've been having repeated dreams that my boyfriend of 3 years is cheating on me. Do you think it means something, or are they just silly dreams? I've had cheating dreams. They suck.
Oh, she wakes up so mad. We wake up and I'm like, oh, babe, how's your night? And she was like, fine.
No, I'm not. Whatever. It has happened to me before, and I've only had like, I don't know, a couple.
35 or something.
Not that many.
Not a lot.
I have found that when I'm having those dreams, and I don't know if this is like scientifically accurate, but maybe you feel like you're lacking some quality time or something like that. And
is that what you find?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I haven't had a cheating dream in like a year. Good for you.
Good job, babe.
But I remember the last time I had it, I did find that, oh yeah, I do feel like I'm not getting a lot of quality time right now. So
whoops.
It could be a deeper thing if like you feel like there are some signs of some weird things going on, then obviously that's going to be on your mind and you're going to dream about it. But that's my experience.
That's actually a really good answer, because my two answers were like, if you're Christian, maybe it's like prophetic or something and God's being like, yo, look into this. Or I'd hate to be so direct, but maybe the issue lies with you and you may have some trust issues or something that you need to work through.
Or like a certain insecurity that is like fresh in your mind.
Or you're lacking quality time.
Yeah. So it could be any of those.
So
good luck.
Just pick one.
Give them all a go.
Do you want to take a little ad break to promote my new single real quick?
We don't take ad breaks.
It's not a real podcast, I know, but I still felt like I needed to do it.
But like, should it be a real podcast?
My new single dropped. It's called Breakup Song. Oh, hilarious. I post like a TikTok and a reel crying. I just trolled all my followers and it went so well.
Never gonna write you a breakup song, and after everything is said and done.
All right, that's all you get.
Go check it out. My boyfriend and I are going to be doing long distance in college, needing some good advice. Probably 50% of the questions were long distance. I couldn't believe it.
That's wild.
Some advice that we would have. What was that sentence?
That was good. You want to start a podcast?
I know, maybe I shouldn't. It's really not a good idea. A piece of advice that we really like is sometimes it's not going to be able to happen, but kind of try to plan the next time that you're going to see that person. Almost like counting down. Sometimes we didn't know the exact day, or maybe we had a rough ballpark of like this month we'll see each other.
It's like setting the goal that you have to work towards and you know kind of where the finish line is. It's like a tangible timeline that you have to work towards.
It's tangible, yeah. And we found that really helped us.
Also, I would say setting time to actually talk and FaceTime, because if you're texting all the time, like it's good to stay in communication with each other, but
so much can be easily misread, and just if you're texting too much, it can way easier lead to arguments.
Like, don't text about the serious things. Text about like, got my coffee, headed to class today, just left work, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Like just woke up thinking of you, love you. Like something like that is a good text.
If you actually want to have a full conversation, FaceTime or call, or even use the little audio message thing on your phone if you can't connect.
We did that so much. We still do.
Yeah.
I want walkie-talkies, but anyway.
That would be we literally were talking about with our assistant. That would be hilarious to have walkie-talkies in the house.
Trust is a really huge thing with long distance. Like immediately you have to show each other that the other person can trust you. So just really being intentional with that, and then find out the other person's love language and practice that.
If you're a dude and you know that her love language is gifts and you're in a long distance relationship, like try and find a flower shop or something that you can order flowers to be sent to her.
Quality time, for example, like planning a day and time to have a date on FaceTime.
You even share a meal together, like have dinner together over FaceTime.
Just doing intentional stuff like that. My husband and I get really busy and have a struggle to find time to be intimate. At night, I'm so tired. In the morning, he is left for work. How do you guys make time to be together that way? And this is actually kind of moving on from the last question with intentionality. In relationships in general, like you just have to be intentional with a lot of things, and don't forget that you have to be intentional with that side of it as well. It's
not always spontaneous. I know a couple who they have it set that every Saturday they plan, you know.
Look at us.
They plan it.
Yeah, I think like just have an open conversation with one another and just like say, hey, I'm really tired, then you leave, and you know, how can we figure out a way to like intentionally make this happen?
Planning it, it's weird, but it is a thing that you kind of need to do. And that goes like across the board for a lot of things in your personal life. If you want to like be really intentional with whatever it is, activities and stuff, like planning them out and planning them well is even with your recreational activities. It's a good thing to kind of have in your life. She's great at it. This girl right here to my left.
How do y'all resolve a fight? Do you ever go to bed angry? Yes.
Sometimes yeah.
We do go to bed angry.
We do.
But not like angry, like.
And those just happen to be the nights that Jess has a dream that I've cheated on her.
No. You know the classic wedding advice. Don't go to bed angry at each other.
I really liked that advice because it like makes sense when you're not actually thinking about the situation.
It's such a nice piece of advice, and definitely like a goal. Like that should be a goal to like not.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to like sleep on it and wake up, and sometimes we'll wake up and feel fine.
Yeah, and then you're actually able to talk about it without being completely pissed at each other.
Or like, for example, if I get annoyed at something, but I know if I just sleep on it, I'll wake up and it's not going to bother me anymore. Like sometimes you just need to do that. If that ever happens, like don't put too much pressure on yourself and be like, oh no, we went to bed angry. Like sometimes it just happens, and some people just communicate and resolve fights better that way, to like have a bit of space and wake up and talk about it. And
we've kind of always been like that, whether it's having space in the middle of the day or like going to sleep and waking up in the morning to then resolve it. Then it's not a bad thing.
I actually don't think staying up and like arguing about something till like 1 or 2 in the morning would be better than going to sleep and waking up and talking about it.
It's going to take 10 times as long, and you're going to be way more pissed at each other because you're already super tired and over it.
Yeah, I feel like the way that we resolve fights, I feel like...
Dude, I was thinking the same thing.
I feel like after a while, you learn how each other like operates and communicates in arguments. So for us, we like space, we like some time, and then we come back and talk about it.
We both just don't like kind of like butting heads.
I feel like also we don't argue that much.
I feel like we kind of like each other a little bit.
I'm going to throw myself under the bus a little bit and say that I feel like, excuse me, put that face away. The time that we're a bit on edge with each other is like around my period, and it's when I'm like a bit more emotional, a bit more sensitive, and something like might annoy me more than like wouldn't annoy me before. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
All right. Thankfully, I feel like we get along so well, and we're like pretty open with each other about stuff that we like don't argue that often. But if we do, it's okay to take space. It's okay to go to sleep.
I agree.
Heck yeah.
Let's go, baby. Let's flip and go, dude. Good job, everyone.
I feel like we've been talking for so long, but I've had a lot of fun.
We have. I don't know how long the video is going to be. Jenny's going to cut it down. It's going to be spicy, but right now we're at 39 minutes of recording. So
basically a whole podcast.
A whole podcast we just did, but now it has to get cut down into a YouTube video.
But this was a lot of fun, and I feel like it was really casual and just like like we were kind of all hanging out, even though I'm just looking at you.
Let us know if you want us to do this again.
Yeah, if you like this format.
Have little chit chats and stuff.
We can do this more often if you like. We love you guys, and we'll...
Sorry.
Gabriel Conti.
Listen. Glad you were listening.
We love you guys. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, we will see you next week for another video.
Peace out.
From Jess
and Gabriel Conti. Yo!